Welcome back to Hobby Jogger Elite, and welcome back to another Workout Wednesday. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward today. We have 8 by 1 kilometer repeats. So 8K repeats with a 2-minute rest in between each. This is the third week of training for my sub 250 goal here at the marathon distance. I have just transitioned my VDOT value. So if you're familiar with Daniel's running formula, you probably know what that means. If you're not familiar with Daniel's running formula, a finish time for a race, no matter what the distance, corresponds with a certain value in this Daniel's running formula approach. So if you run 2:53 for the marathon like I did, you get a certain number. I think it's like a 56 point something. So I have now transitioned my VDOT value, which corresponds with certain training paces, to a 57.5, which is pretty much the sub 250 goal time of 2:49 in whatever seconds. So that means that my training paces have increased in terms of speed by just a couple seconds. So these kilometer repeats at what is called an interval pace in this training philosophy are a couple seconds faster than they used to be. But a couple seconds is sort of generous. It's more like 1 second faster than they used to be. So I should be running these Ks today at about 3 minutes and 30 seconds per rep, which is about 5:38 per mile pace. So pretty much what I was already doing before. Excited to see if this makes a difference at all. My hypothesis is that it will not, because these training paces are so incredibly close or the same as what I was doing before with training. So eager to see how the block progresses here with some new VDOT values and see if sort of training to your goal race pace and those corresponding training paces is more beneficial, more productive than training at what you have already run before, and see if that sort of pushes my fitness forward a bit. I'm recording this inside because it's currently 26 degrees outside and it is not light out yet. So we're going to hang out for a little bit before we get out there for this kilometer repeat workout.
Yeah, it's pretty cold out here. It hasn't gotten any warmer since the sun came up. My feet are almost completely numb. Gonna go ahead, warm up about 4 miles. We're about 1.5 miles into this. I'm gonna need every second of this warm up just to regain some feeling in my hands and feet. From Pennsylvania, lived here my whole life. I'll never get used to this. All right, 4 miles of warm up in the cards. Got the heart rate nice and low for that one. Feels like every time I work out during this training block, I inevitably have to go to the bathroom by the end of my warm-up. We're out in the wild, boys. There is nowhere to go to the bathroom. 4 miles down, 8 kilometer repeats to go. And then a cool down. Also had a Morton gel, which I'm getting more used to at this point, but man, I still think that drink mix tastes like absolute garbage, but the gels are not half bad. So 1 gel down, 4 miles down. Let's get into some kilometer repeats here. All right, through the first 4 reps, definitely a tick or two slow. First one was very slow because marathon legs reps 2 through 4 were either 3:31 or 3:32. So second or two slow here, but we're in the general ballpark. I'm on a pretty hilly loop, so we're cool with it. Gonna keep rolling here. All right, workout officially in the books. All 8 reps done. We are cooling down now. I was just stuck in that gear between threshold and interval pace. I could not get out of it, and though that's, when comparing what I was doing today, what I was doing to what I was doing a year ago, it's like night and day faster. The fact that I'm disappointed today in a workout where I'm running, 3:30 to 3:33 for K repeats, that says a lot about the progress I've made between the end of 2022 and where we are now here at the very beginning of 2024. But marathon training, in my experience, has not always been a rising tide raises all ships, or whatever the frickin' saying is. For me, marathon training gets me really good at a couple of different things, has my confidence at an all-time high for a couple different things. But anytime I have to run significantly quicker than like my top end threshold pace, it just doesn't feel like I'm pushing all that hard.
So in reviewing that footage, it seems like some of the audio in the video got detached sequence-wise and things weren't in sync. But essentially what I ended up rambling about for another couple minutes there is that I feel like even though I may not be like anaerobically or top-end speed-wise where I was while I was 5K training, you know, through the middle portion of 2023, and things like kilometer repeats, 800-meter repeats might not be where they were at that time according to that specific training, I feel like training-wise I'm becoming a smarter runner. There isn't that same sense of like life and death urgency with hitting specific paces to the second when it comes to these reps. It's much more a running by feel sort of approach that I'm finding. And that may be because fatigue affects you differently over the course of marathon training blocks than it does with something that's a bit of a shorter distance like 5Ks. Or it might just be learning what my body feels like and what it likes to run at on any given day in any given pace range for a specific type of workout. You know, if I feel like I'm going to absolutely sink myself fatigue wise and, you know, let go of my mechanics and my form just to hit 5:38 a mile or 3:30 flat per K for an 8 by kilometer repeat workout, as opposed to running what I'm capable of on a given day like I was today and hit 3:33s instead of 3:30s or 3:32s instead of 3:30s, then like what's ultimately the difference between a second or two, you know? And the effort is definitely there. And I feel like that is probably a move in the right direction, just philosophically as a runner, mentally as a runner, not treating every workout like it's the end all be all and not treating these paces, even though it sort of contradicts what I was saying in the beginning when I talked about shifting my VDOT values and my training paces a few seconds here and there. It's more of like setting that intention and being in the ballpark of that rather than hitting those paces exactly, and sort of running by feel, listening to your body more and more, because ultimately that's what's probably going to keep me the most healthy when it comes to longevity. And the marathon is all about longevity. So solid workout, solid lesson learned on today's run. And yeah, let me know. Let me know down below what you thought of the video, what you thought of the workout, how your training has been. Are you following Daniel's? Are you following something else? What's the most interesting thing going on in your training right now? Let me know down in the comments below. Otherwise, that's all I got for today's video. And we'll catch up in the next one. Peace.